is...
A disaster recovery coordinator was appointed to the town today. He'll be reporting to the government and working in the area for the next 4 weeks. Blaketown residents say it'll take a lot longer than that for their lives to return to normal. Sahai Tiffin for the Network News.
Flood Relief Fund. However, your donation doesn't have to be cash. The people hit by the floods are short of almost everything, in particular bedding, mattresses, sheets, etc. But there are some special needs too. Toys, for example. Now, they were low on the list when residents fled before the flood. However, Council Welfare Officer Peter Bradley told me this afternoon that if anyone has any old ones to spare, they would be of immense comfort to the children who've lost their own and, of course, their homes. The problem is how to get all this material over to the coast. Last night we didn't know, but tonight we do. Here's Bob Sutton.
Railway Speedlink has come to the aid of the Greymouth relief operation with free cartage of your donated goods. They're now accepting household goods and anything else that might be helpful to the townspeople. Speedlink will accept the goods at their office at the Colombo Street end of the Christchurch railway station.
We'll be accepting mainly non-perishable items. It's not going to arrive in Greymouth until shortly after lunchtime Saturday, so perishable items could well go off by then.
So this load that you're gearing up for now will leave this Saturday for Greymouth, will it?
Right. The Transalpine leaves at 7:30 on Saturday morning, and this will be attached to it.
What about future deliveries?
We'll be accepting stuff, goods all next week. It will be stored, and probably Wednesday or Thursday, or as demand dictates, we'll put another spare guards van on the train to Greymouth.
Another reminder on the Flood Relief Fund before we leave you tonight. Good evening and welcome to the Mainland Touch, coming to you tonight from the forecourt of Television House here in Worcester Street. Well, we've left the studio to make room for Railway Speedlink and the Linwood High School Jazz Band, who along with 3ZB have joined forces with us to help out with the Greymouth Flood Relief Fund. Well, since our program on Wednesday night, there's been a growing surge of concern about how Cantabrians can help with the flood-stricken coasters. In the past 24 hours, we've organised a project which can give you an opportunity to help out. It's centred around 5 of Christchurch's main suburban shopping malls, and I'll be telling you just a little bit more about that and the good things that have already happened in support of the appeal later in the program. But first, here's Bob Sutton with the news. Began to ring. Where could people send donations and where could they leave suitable goods? Well, Trust Bank provided their services as a receiving agency and Railway Speedlink volunteered to take and transport the goods. Blue Star Taxis offered to provide a free collection service from homes to Speedlink's railway station depot. Neither companies, of course, envisaged the tremendous response.
There's been a continuous stream of cars, trucks and taxis dropping in at the station to bring bedding, furniture and useful household goods for Greymouth. By early this afternoon, 2 large wagons had been substantially filled and Speedlink had been advised several truckloads of furniture were also available and collections being arranged for next week. Blue Star Taxis have been collecting from people unable to deliver goods, this load being this driver's 3rd trip. The response for bedding has been particularly good, and even stoves and TV sets have been donated. Toys for the children haven't been forgotten, and the whole consignment will be freighted over by the normal Transalpine service tomorrow.
And with us from Speedlink, Chris Hobbs, and from Blue Star Taxi, Sid Wakefield. Chris, first of all, I guess you hadn't expected as much in the way of appliances to be coming into the depot today.
Nothing like it at all.
Have you got enough room for these sorts of things?
We'll handle it. We'll get it to Greymouth. There's no doubt about that.
And how many trips do you envisage taking with Speedlink?
As many as it takes. There's no problem.
And any idea at this stage as to how many that will involve?
Well, at the moment, there's 100 cubic metres already on the way to Greymouth, so there's an idea. We can handle possibly twice that between now and the end of next week.
What have been some of the more unusual items?
Well, there's been absolutely everything. There's washing machines, there's actually a colour television set on its way, refrigerators, heaters, bedding, toys, lots of lovely soft toys for the kids over there.
Good on you, Chris, and you're still taking things, of course, tomorrow?
The station's not open tomorrow, but of course Monday to Friday next week from 8 till 4, bring it down.
Good on you. Chris Hobbs from Speedlink. And also another very busy gentleman today has been Sid Wakefield from Blue Star. Sid, the owner-operators got right in behind you today, didn't they? And really swung into action.
Yeah, did they ever, John?
And
it was absolutely incredible.
Not a problem convincing them at all?
No, they just fell into it. It was just incredible. staggering to think what they done, actually. Words can't explain it.
And they were busy right round the city and some of the outlying areas as well.
Rangiora, Rolleston, Lincoln, everywhere.
Good news.
It's
well, look,
just incredible.
gentlemen, Sid, Chris, thanks very much for your support. That's marvellous. So, well, Sir Hi Tiffin was back on the coast again today to just see how things were, and she spoke to Monica Hume of the Greymouth Civil Defence about what further goods were required.
The immediate requirements are basically one of some clothing. Food seems to be okay at present, and mattresses and bedding. And in the mattresses and bedding area, of course, mattresses take much longer to dry out, and if the weather stayed like this, we'd be fine. And blankets also take a long time to dry out, and so they're the immediate requirements as far as relief from away is concerned at the moment. Sheets and pillows and so on are relatively easy to launder and dry, so they're not a problem. On the subject of clothing, we traditionally in this type of disaster have a high number of, how could you put it, unusable clothing. People get very carried away with wanting to help, and they send undies and socks and evening dresses, and of course they're simply just not usable, and they take too long to coordinate and pack up to get them out to the families that are in need. So it's particularly clothes that are durable, wearable, and of course hygienic.
Okay, you can add to Monica's list children's toys, books and general household goods. Cash donations will be accepted by Trust Bank officers, and cheques should be made out to the West Coast Flood Relief Fund. Now, about tomorrow, the Mainland Touch, 3ZB and Speedlink will be following the Linwood High School Jazz Band around suburban shopping malls to entertain you and, of course, relieve you of that loose change that you might have. The Linwood High School Jazz Band, 20 young people just back from their successful appearance at Expo 88, will perform for the Relief Fund at Sydenham Mall, Riccarton Mall, Northland Shopping Centre, Linwood City Mall and the New Brighton Mall. And in the car parks of all those malls, you'll see the Speedlink vans, which will receive any goods and donations that you can pass our way. Well, we look forward to seeing you there, and in return you'll be entertained by this magnificent group, the Linwood High School Jazz Band, one which really had them swinging at Expo. We leave you with them. Good night.
Being overwhelmed by the generosity of people around the country, so much so they're calling a halt to the goods that are constantly arriving. Donations of clothing and furniture are piling up, but can't be distributed until people get back into their homes.
Christchurch people in particular have responded generously to the appeals for help. Railway wagons filled up quickly last week as donations of bedding, stoves and televisions arrived in a steady stream. Today, many of those goods are lying in storage. Relief agencies in Greymouth just don't have the space or the workers to deal with them. The city's drying